Well, J.P. Skelly is a well-known name in South Dakota broadcasting. And this week's Someone You Should Know, Eric Thorstensen, tells us a story of how this East Coast native has made a career of covering news in the Mitchell area.
Good morning. It's Wednesday, May 31st.
J.P. Skelly has been a familiar voice.
Sponsored by Dice Financial.
On the radio in the Mitchell area for close to 4 decades.
In 69 in the Corn Palace City.
The career for the Long Island, New York native, though, didn't begin in front of the mic.
At a low of 63. I'll have your complete forecast in 4 minutes. In my previous life, I was a consultant geologist in the last oil boom in North Dakota. Back in the late 70s, to the mid 80s.
That oil boom went bust, and JP took a different path.
To help owners of dilapidated homes in the city's core area. And I'd always wanted to be in broadcasting, and I was living in Billings, Montana at the time, and there was a broadcasting school there, May School of Broadcasting. So I figured, hey, what the heck, it's my opportunity to do it. 87 absentee votes had been cast.
In January of 1986, he took a job at KORN Radio in Mitchell.
As I joke with people, KORN was supposed to be a 2-year stop on my rise to fame and fortune. For people to report, after 37 years, it's the fame I found, but the fortune that eludes me.
Did the district find this tactic?
Which is the case, in most small market broadcasting. But I got to like the community, and there was plenty of opportunity, for broadcast adventures here, and so I decided to stay.
And he spent most of those years as the station's news director with countless memories.
In 1992, I had the chance to cover President George H. Bush's campaign trip to a farm near Humboldt. What was surreal about the whole thing was I remember standing up on the area that we had for the news media and looking down a gravel road, and here comes a presidential limousine. It was surreal.
There were the tough stories, too, like the Spencer tornado 25 years ago.
I remember talking to a volunteer firefighter who came out to get his pickup, and I looked at him and I said, "How bad is it?" And he just looked at me and he said, "It's gone."
For a generation of listeners, JP is often one of the first voices they'll hear to start their day.
The U.S. Supreme Court recently ruled. Usually get here around 4 a.m. and we prepare for doing the morning show, Mitchell's Morning News. Make sure everything is organized and ready to go. Once we finish at about 8:30 or so, then we start news gathering throughout the day.
He knows a lot of people and he knows a lot of things that go on in Mitchell. He has a great understanding of what's happened in the past and what's going on, and that's where people can turn to get what they need to know.
That started when I was a kid, listening to some of the greatest stations in the world in New York City, and always dreaming about the day, hopefully, wow, I want to do this. I really do.
And the 67-year-old says there are still a lot of stories to tell.
Representative Roger Chase
over the KORN airwaves.
Maybe a couple of more years. It depends on, when my wife decides that she wants to retire. And also, I'm still having fun. I don't have any problems or anything. But as long as I've got my health and I'm still enjoying it, I'll stay with it. You got to have a passion for it. You got to be willing to work it. And you got to earn your way up the ladder, so to speak. There's fewer and fewer of us around. I feel blessed because this is something that I always wanted to do. It took me a while to do it. Yes, returning to the classroom this year since the school district announced. And I've had that opportunity. I'm J.P. Skelly, KORN News Radio, FM 101.3 and AM 1490.
In Mitchell, Eric Thorstensen, Dakota News Now.